Hola chamas y chamos, welcome back to a new episode of Alvaro Dev Labs. Today we're gonna continue playing with Nuxt release candidate. Especially, we are gonna touch server routes, which allows you to create APIs within your Nuxt application. For those of you that doesn't know what Nuxt is yet, Nuxt is a progressive view framework that allows you to easily create web experiences such as server-side rendering, client-side rendering, static site generation, and in the near future, hybrid rendering with a delightful developer experience. In case you want to learn the basics of Nuxt, please check the other videos that I have in the channel. Also, we are going to learn how to fetch the data from this API in our client-side application. I hope you're ready because we'll start now. I created a new Nuxt application using the command npx nuxi init, and for the time being I'm using version 3.0.0, release candidate number 3. It's possible that when you see this tutorial, a new version has been released, so I don't expect it to change that much because it's pretty stable by now. Also, in the Nuxt config.ts, I added a module for styling, which is CSS. It's like a minimal version of Tailwind and Windy CSS. I really like it. And first thing that we were gonna do, we are gonna create a server route. Okay. Something that I really like about Nuxt is when you initialize a project, you have a really basic structure, and it's progressive because you can add things as you need them. In this case, we're going to create a server folder. Inside that server folder, we are going to create another one called API. This one is going to hold all the routes of our API. Let's start with something simple. So we are going to create a TypeScript file, and we're going to export a default and define event handler. This is going to return a handler, okay? So a function that gives you an event, okay? And we're gonna return that. So here we can say return, and we're gonna return a message which is gonna be not this one, but let's put something else, okay? Cool. If we save it, so if we go to our browser where we have our server-side rendering application running, right now it has the default Nuxt welcome page, and we type here API and then the route that we just created, and we press enter. We're gonna have JSON being returned here, which the message that we get. So as simple as this, you can create an API that returns something. But of course, returning a message called a wee doesn't make really sense. So let's create a proper API. I created a JSON file with a Pokedex that goes from the first Pokemon, which is Bulbasaur, until I think I put some of them, and then I added Pikachu at the end. As impressive as it sounds, I didn't know this by memory, but it was my GitHub Copilot who generated for me. I created the first one with the structure that I wanted and some data that I got in the internet. There are plenty of different Pokedex and Pokemon APIs out there. And for example, this one, the images or the sprite, I'm getting it from the Poke API project. And when I finished the first one, it started to suggest me all of them until I think like Charizard, and it completely all the different properties correctly. So that seems to be that a lot of people is creating Pokemon APIs with GitHub Copilot. I don't know, but it was pretty funny to watch. So how can we get this data into our API that we're creating next? As we did with hello, let's create under the directory of API. Let's just create Pokemon.ts. In the same way, we are going to export the default define event handler. This is going to return an event. Okay, something like this, and we're gonna just import our Pokedex. So I have the JSON file under a directory called data, so we need to go back by 2 and get that one there. So Pokedex from, yeah, and it's not 1 but 2, like that. Okay. And we can put here, instead of message, let's just return the Pokedex and see what happens. So let's save. And now if we go here to our browser and here we put Pokemon, you're gonna see that it returns our JSON file just right away. So we can start building something with this. Now that our server is ready, let's fetch the data into our client part of the application. So here in the app.view, I'm going to remove the Nuxt welcome here, and I'm just going to put the next Nuxt page component. Okay. So similar of how we create the server, let's create under the root another directory called pages. And with the magic that Nuxt brings into the table, this is going to create a route per each component that we put under pages. So in this case, I'm going to create a home page, which is index.view. And here, let's just create a basic script and template. I'm going to remove this because I'm not going to use SAS. And I'm probably going to remove this part here. So how do we fetch the data from the server? Here, we're going to use a composable that Nuxt includes by default, which is called useFetch. So the way of using it is I'm going to deconstruct an object with data, okay? And we're going to use useFetch, okay? And inside of useFetch, we are going to pass something like this, and we are going to call API Pokemon. Like this. We are not gonna pass the ID yet. We're just gonna return this, and let's see what is printed. So inside here, I'm just going to put pre, and let's pass data here. Okay, so if we go back to our browser and we go to I'm gonna duplicate this one so we can have also the API available if we want to check it. Okay, so we have our data available in the front end, right? Let's do something with that data. So going back to Visual Code, I'm going to replace this and I'm going to create like a grid. So it's going to be like a grid like this. And I'm going to do it like maybe 5-ish with a gap of 8, okay? Probably we will need to do a little bit of a layout here. So I'm going to create a X outlook with a container. Okay, that should somehow center this. So let's see if we're doing it correctly. Yeah, this is some columns, but because we are using the pre, it doesn't take it, right? So here we are gonna create some cards, right? So I'm gonna create another div, and this div is gonna contain our Pokemon. Let's do right away a before. Okay, let's test it out. Before, so here, of course, if we are fetching from several places, we can put an alias here, and I'm gonna use Pokemons. So that way you can use this variable with this name. So let Pokemon of Pokemons, and we need to put a key. Don't forget to put the key. So we are gonna put Pokemon name, no Pokemon name here. What is, it doesn't exist, some type num. That's weird. Well, maybe I don't have to put the let here. Yeah, sorry. I don't know why I put deleted there. Okay, here let's create a little bit of styling. So let's say we want some padding. We want a border that is 1 pixel, maybe rounded. Border gray 200. Yeah, I think it's enough. And just below here, let's just put first an image. So it's already like suggesting me this. So let's try it out. I'm going to set the image with the sprite from default. I think I don't need the from default. I need the sprite. And let's check here the name and the ID. Okay, seems about right. Let's see here. Okay, we have something really bad, but we have something. So basically, yeah, I don't have any fonts or nice fonts here. Maybe we should add them. And I'm going to reduce the number of columns to 4, and probably the gap. Let's see how the gap was. It's okay. Yeah, okay. For this one, maybe we can set like, okay, it's a height of 64, which is too much, I think. Let's put a height of, I don't know, 10, maybe. And what about doing it with an aspect ratio? So aspect ratio 1. Let's see if it works. So I made some changes in the styles to not waste more time on it, and this is the final result. I understood why the fonts were so big. Is because I had it with a zoom in the Chrome. Right now I have the normal one. I hope it's still kind of visible and understandable. So we have the Pokedex here, and I want to show another thing about useFetch. So when we are querying some data, there is a possibility to have an error. So you can deconstruct here 2 new properties with this pending and error. Okay. So first, let's fake the error. So I'm going to change a little bit the format here, and I'm going to do wrapper div. This is important because even if view tree allows you to have multiple like siblings without a parent in the template, it's important to have it in Nuxt, because whenever you change the page, it's gonna be really glitchy if you don't do it. So I'm gonna wrap everything with the div, and this is gonna be probably the container of, yeah, this is like the component or the wrapper for the Pokemon's grid. I'm going to do another one here, which is gonna be like an error message, right? So let's put like a background really quick, background red, soft subtle, rounded, P4. Let me increase a little bit the size here. So P4 text red 500 to have enough contrast, and inside of it let's put an icon. So I can use Uno CSS icons and say E alert, MD alert. Yeah, circuit outline. Okay. fine enough, but it didn't put it inside the class. So sometimes Emmet doesn't work well with this, so I need to put it like here, probably. Yeah. Okay, so this is gonna give us like an icon, as you see here. Oh well, the page, yeah. We need to put this full. Okay. Okay, better. Yeah, probably we need to put it like in the same way as the other, right? So a container with mx auto like this. Refresh here. Why it didn't work? Because I'm dyslexic. Container. Yeah. Okay, a little bit better. Um, mm, 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 mm. And we're gonna say here there was an error. Like, oops, there was an error loading the Pokedex. Okay, let's see how it looks. Fair enough. Maybe also we need to change them to use phone sense. Okay, that's fair enough. So we want to show that whenever we have an error, right? So let's put here a if. So whenever we have an error, we're gonna show this one, and yeah, let's do a else here for the rest. And let's force an error, right? So here where it says Pokemon, I'm just going to do a typo, so forcing a 404 error for the server. And you're gonna see that now we are showing the error message that we created. If we remove it and save, lol, for some reason it's taking the, if I refresh, okay, cool. Also, we can do it here. So view, let's see if we can toggle that in the view DevTools. So we have, I'm checking the routes. Let's check this here. Nuxt page, transition-based transition index. So error is a ref and pending, okay. So error is null. Not null. Okay, it doesn't accept that. Untrue. Okay, so if I change it to true, if I toggle it, you will see that we change between the two states, okay? What happens if we put pending? So the idea will be to create something similar as this, right? But let's do it in another fashion. So gray, we are gonna put gray here. The same, so let's say we are loading, okay? And maybe we can do something with the spinner. Let's see if there is an icon, MD spinner. Okay, so I'm going to use a really cool plugin that I have here, this iconess. Oops, what happened? Okay, cool. And here let's look for a spinner. So we have prime spinner. Okay, I'm not really a fan on any of those, but let's use this prime spinner. So I don't know if I have to install a specific iconess here, but let's try it out. So we are here in this one, and we just need to put prime spinner. Yeah, okay, that's cool. And I don't know if I can rotate it, animate it like a rotation. Spin, okay, maybe that one will work. So if, well, we need to show it, right? So in case we have pending true, okay, we are gonna show this one. So how do we force a pending? First, let's check it out here that is actually working. So yeah, as you can see, we have a loading state here with the pending. So if we toggle it, we will have that one. Now let's add a little bit or more complexity to our application. So I added input for search, and we are gonna search Pokemons with this. Okay, we are gonna filter the results by name, Okay, so I added input field here. To go quicker, I'm not going to explain that much, but here is a header with the input, some icon and so on. And I added a debounce ref from view use core, which is really useful because I want to debounce the field. Okay, so how do we query or use fetch to filter, right, or API? So basically, we need to add this query here. So I'm going to just pass this to the bottom, and we want to pass it like this, right? So we're gonna pass the query value into our API call. How do we get it here? So there is another composable which is, let me search for it, which is use query. Okay, so here we're gonna deconstruct the query. We are gonna put a default value of empty string, okay, and then use query, and important, we pass the event. Okay, so this is basically going to give us this query parameter here. Okay, what we need to do with it is just basically filter this bad boy here, and we are going to pass Pokemon, and we are going to lowercase the name of the because I think it's with the uppercase, and we are gonna check if it includes the query also to lowercase. Okay, I don't know what type error doesn't exist in query value to lowercase, so maybe we need to force it to be a string. I don't know, as a string. Yeah, okay, cool. So if we go back to our application and we start typing Ivysaur, you will see that it filters the results. There is a little bit of cumulative shift there, and I think it's because the loading state, I don't know if you see it, is like every time I type, it goes to loading event. So pending is equal true here, and it flashes a little bit. Maybe we could improve that by forcing this to have like a set timeout or something like that. But for now it's okay. So let's try it out again. Pikachu. So all good. If I put it at A, it's gonna show me everything that have an A. The same is if I put E, it's gonna show me all of them that have an E in the name. So that's basically how you create like a search filter with a query and just query the API call. We can do the same here, just so you can check it directly. API Pokemon, and then query equal, and let's say Pikachu, and you're gonna see that the result. Okay. So until this part of the tutorial, we have been only fetching data from our API. But what happens if we want to submit data, to do a post request? So something that I really like about the server root is that it allows you to create post, patch, and put routes by just putting a suffix in the route. So what we're gonna do is here I have a new page called contact, and it's just basically an email input. We're gonna submit to the form. We're gonna submit it and subscribe to the Pokedex newsletter, right? So how we're gonna do it here, I just added some template that you saw in the page. and is going to submit prevent and handle the submit here. Okay, so first of all, let's create here a new route, and we're gonna call it submit, and we're gonna put the suffix post.ts. Okay, like any other one, we're gonna define a event handler. Okay, and inside of it, so we're going to use const body, and we are going to use the composable use body, and we're gonna pass event. Since we're using await here, we need to set the handler to be asynchronous. Then we're gonna return, and let's do something even more interesting here, because one of the things that I love about Nuxt in the server routes is that you actually can use some of the utilities and composables. And we're going to use one from use core. So here, use core, which is called use now. So this composable allows you to get the actual time. Okay, so we're gonna use now here, use now, and we're gonna return it. To return it, we need to return the value because it's a ref. Okay, and for the body, we're going just to put here submitted and the body. Now let's go to the frontend part, to the contact.view, and in the handle summit we are going to add the call. So we are going to hold the response in our res, and we are going to do await. Okay, and we're going to use $fetch. In $fetch we're going to put API submit, which is our route, and here we're going to pass the method. There is going to be post. In this case, I put it like this. And let's pass a body with the email. But we are going to pass the email value directly. Okay. To see if they work and to get like the things that we created here, like return the actual time and the body back. We're going to put here res response and res here. Okay, let's save, go here, maybe refresh just in case, and let's put an email that represents me. So I hate query gmail.com, and here we have. So we submitted the changes, and this is the response that comes from our APIs. So as you can see here, we successfully sent the email, and we also got the current time in the server. So that's pretty cool. You can use all of the view use or any composable available on the server also. And that's pretty much it for today. I hope you learned something new. I don't have that many experience in server routes, but for me it was amazing to do this tutorial. I learned so much. So if you also did, please let me know in the comments and drop a like. And also don't forget to subscribe to get more of my videos. See you in the next time. Happy coding!